to Line Call on the Stack, and we are very pleased to welcome in Tanner Groff from the PPA and, of course, collaborator with us on the UPA State Championships, which incredibly are just a couple of weeks away, a little more than that, inside Performance Pickleball RVA, first weekend of August. Tanner, thanks so much for taking time. I know, like everybody right now, you are a busy man. Can you just kind of take us through the creation of the State Championship Series, and as you've seen it come to fruition rapidly, I think is the best way to put it, in terms of getting the entire infrastructure of a national competition in place?
Totally, yeah. Thanks for having me on today, guys. So the UPA State Championship Series, like you said, came together very quickly. We hit the ground running on it this year. But the UPA State Championship Series is a national tournament series, and so we're going around to all 50 states plus DC. And it gives players, the UPA is giving players the opportunity to compete at the highest level in every single state. So we found 18 different tournament operators from around the country and really brought this thing to life with guys like Mark here at Southern Pickleball, who connected me with you guys. And we're bringing this thing together to give players the opportunity to compete at the highest level and qualify for a national event here in Dallas in November. So it's something that came together quickly, but we're really excited about the way it's shaping up.
Did you and your team see a real specific reason to do it state by state and maybe have I don't know, sometimes people have a sense of pride of being the Virginia state champion versus just a tournament champion. Did that lead the conversation at all?
Totally. So like you said, it's a really cool opportunity. It gives players the chance to call themselves state champions, and a state champion of Virginia is something you can always say. But I grew up playing sports like a lot of other people, and there was always a state championship before you got onto a regional or a national event. And we saw an opportunity in this space that no one was really taking advantage of. And so we thought it was a cool opportunity to bring pickleball to that state level. And give people the opportunity to be state champions. So totally, I grew up playing sports, and that was always something that we talked about, is trying to be the state champion. So that's kind of how it came together. It sounds a little bit simple, but it was something we were all really excited about.
Tanner, the PPA, of course, has had tremendous success with the Carvana PPA Tour, and the tour stops have really become these spectacles with, of course, the pro divisions, but also the amateur tournaments and competitions that surround them. This is a step outside of that model for y'all, of course, because this is just about the amateur competition advancing to the nationals. What have you learned through the course of that process when you're not bringing the tour stars, but at the same time shining that spotlight on the more local player?
Totally. So I think really at the core of what we do at United Pickleball and at the PPA is bring people together through pickleball. So we really believe that pickleball enhances people's lives. I know everyone has stories about meeting their partner or making new friends or being part of a community. And so I think this has given us the opportunity to really give people that kind of space to come together and compete. But the amateur pickleball level is what really makes this thing so spectacular. I know we talk about all the statistics of 35 million people playing pickleball, but at the core, it's really cool for us to be able to work hard knowing that pickleball makes people's lives better. So I think that kind of UPA amateur playing is a great representation of that.
You mentioned 18 partners that will basically not necessarily just run the tournaments, but you need to team up with people like Mark Spackman of Southern Pickleball. What goes into that process? How do you choose those? And maybe even more specifically, how did you choose Southern Pickleball? Because the people that are going to be playing in this, they're going to know and see Southern Pickleball's logo, and they're going to be exposed to that. So maybe they could have an idea of what to expect in a tournament that is operated by those folks.
Totally. So Like I said, there's 18 different tournament operators, and we feel those are some of the best tournament operators in the country. And so what we did is went out and looked on all the different tournament softwares, but specifically pickleball brackets here, and kind of looked at who's running a lot of tournaments, how are these tournaments, what's kind of the feedback from these different tournaments that they're running. And we went out and reached out to a bunch of these people. So I know we talked about Mark here, and Mark is so passionate, so hardworking, and someone who truly wants to deliver an A-plus experience for his players. And we reached out to these guys who have a foothold in some of these markets. So like Paul Richards and Andrea Coop's team in Michigan, or Matt Slawinski in New Jersey, or Janice Pauly, who's running our Connecticut tournament. We've really, through different relationships and through some built that are new relationships, we've had the opportunity to partner with these guys and know that as partners, they are going to deliver and bring a really cool experience for anyone who plays in their tournament. So we're really lucky to have fantastic partners who we feel very confident in.
Tanner, we were having a conversation a little bit earlier on this edition of The Stack before you popped on to join us about when you're rolling out new tournaments, and there are a lot of them, of course, coming out, series or regionally or nationally, as it were in this case. How important is the education process to the player of what is this, what's the event going to be like as compared to this? Because we are in an unparalleled time right now of options for players where the messaging has to be critical, I would imagine, in terms of what you're hoping to accomplish.
Totally. And I know we've talked about this, John. You do a fantastic job of bringing your players lots of value and lots of things that they can go out and experience, but also take home, and whether that's swag bags or whatever it may be. But when we look to create a new tournament, put an extra emphasis on trying to market that event and kind of speak to those players and get the word out there about what that event is. And so the UPA State Championship Series gives players the opportunity to, one, qualify for a national tournament, but we're also giving medalists at the tournaments discounted registration here to the World Championships in November. So trying to kind of give people something to kind of strive for and be motivated to work hard and to play in the events. But it is always tough with tournaments that are new for the first year to really have a foothold in the market and to be able to spread that word about what it is. So marketing or really just working with great partners like you guys at Performance RVA, and then obviously with different tournament directors around the country.
So one of the things I had on my list was biggest struggle or most surprising thing, and that seems like possibly the biggest struggle right there. But is there a sense of there's so many tournaments that you almost have to find some way to make yours different in a big way in order to stand out from the crowd? Because, okay, I missed this tournament, but next week, 10 minutes down the road, I have another tournament. So, I got to find a way as a consumer to decide I want this one over this one. So if you guys spend a lot of time, I'm sure you have, but how much of your time do you spend saying, how can we make this one stand out from the rest without being too gimmicky?
Totally. Yeah. So I think a lot of that was in the discovery of who you're going to trust to run these tournaments, because as a athlete and someone who's competed in tournaments at different sports my whole life, I think the amateur experience or the experience of the participant in the tournament is the most important thing. And what that boils down to is quality of the courts. It's the quality of the players that you're playing against, the order and organization in which the tournaments run. But bringing that all together isn't very easy. So I think the kind of discovery of who was going to run these tournaments and who we were going to trust at that level at each tournament is super important. So I think that's what we tried to focus on and really optimize for this first year, is that experience that all the players are going to have, and try to continue to build on that year in and year out.
And as you mentioned, that player experience, something we were just talking about, so hugely important, and that's from the top all the way down. As you know, the professional tours have become what they are over the last couple of years, and trickling all the way down just into the parks. What's it like right now to be on this ship that is the PPA? Is you're merging and creating and moving and juking and jiving and all those different things. What's it been like in your world the last 12 months?
Yeah, definitely. So I came from a background of working at some larger companies where I'm not able to maybe make as big of an impact, but I would say the coolest parts of it here is there is such a kind of well-knit group that is able to work so hard and put their full force behind everything that they're doing. And obviously with a larger pickleball entity like we have here at the PPA, we're able to share resources, we're able to kind of bounce ideas off of each other, and we're able to really put the full weight of the company behind new ideas. And it all kind of goes back to that why of delivering great experiences to people and really believing passionately that pickleball makes people's lives better. So it's been a really cool opportunity for me. I'm about to hit my 1 year mark here, and it's been quick, and every day is different, and it's a really cool place that I am excited to drive into work every day to go and work at.
Well, 1 year in, and you have some more excitement with this video game launch with the PPA. I'm curious, are you going to go down the path of create your own player, or are you going to pick your favorite pro and go that way?
Great question. So I was actually planning. We have a cool like big video board set up where we film some content in, and had it set up yesterday. We were playing. And I was playing as John Doe versus Tyson McGuffin and got absolutely killed. But the game is spectacular. It's really cool to see. I wasn't personally a part of that project, but it's really, really cool to see it come to life. I know we had a demo out last November and I played it, and they were able to make some really big improvements. And it's pretty exciting. I know everyone's talking about the new NCAA video game or whatever, but if you can get out there and get the new PPA Tour 2025, because it is really fun, and I think people are going to enjoy it.
Yeah, the return of NCAA football. I was on the other side of that conversation for a long time. Get the pickleball game instead, everybody. It's you were an exciting version. Well, Tanner, we again appreciate so much for having the faith in us to host one of the state championships for you, but also start that partnership, and for your time today. Can't wait to get it cranking here. And like I said, in less than 3 weeks, we'll crown some Virginia State champions.
Yep, less than 3 weeks, and everybody still has the opportunity to sign up. So go on to Pickleball brackets here, and at the top of the page, you can see that UPA Championship Series. If you click on that and scroll down just a little bit, you'll see that Virginia tournament here that's being hosted at Performance Pickleball. And you guys are some of the best in the industry, and people are going to be so excited to come out and play in the tournament here. So I appreciate you having me on, and paddles up, guys. I appreciate it.